July 12, 1943. Prokhorovka, Kursk, Salient, Soviet Union. A blood-red sunrise stains the fields. Mist hangs low over scorched wheat. The distant thunder of engines rolls across the land like an ancient beast awakening. Grass bends under the weight of steel treads. The sky waits, holding its breath. At Kursk, the fate of the Eastern Front would be decided. Hitler's last great offensive, Operation Citadel, sought to break the Soviet bulge. In the early light, over 800 Soviet T-34s from the 5th Guards Tank Army prepare for a head-on charge. Crews check fuel, ammo, their hearts.
Brothers, this is it. Drive fast. Fire faster. Die like warriors.
Across the fields, over 300 German tanks, Panthers, Tigers, Mark IVs, await atop ridgelines. Their optics gleam like eyes of predators.
Fire discipline. Hold until they're in range. Then, we kill them all.
The horizon shakes. The charge begins. Soviet T-34s crest the hill in waves. Fast. Fearless. Dust clouds rise. Sunlight reflects off sloped armor. Within seconds, the battlefield becomes thunder incarnate. It was not a battle. It was a collision. At Prokhorovka, over 1,500 tanks clashed on a 12-square-mile patch of earth. Nowhere to run. No flanks. Only forward. German 88mm guns fire with cold precision. T-34s explode mid-charge. Turrets fly like coins. But still they come. Fire! Fire! A Tiger tank turns and fires point blank. A T-34 crumples into flame. Soviet tanks ram through hedgerows, some crashing into German hulls deliberately. One T-34 rams a Tiger, crunch. Then both burn together. Crews scramble out, shooting pistols, throwing grenades.
They're swarming! They're mad.
Speed against power. Quantity against precision. But there was no strategy now. Only chaos. A Soviet commander leaps from his burning tank and rallies his men with a flare pistol.
To the rail line! Push them back!
The battlefield disappears beneath fire and smoke. Midday. The air is thick with diesel fumes and ash. Burned-out tanks smolder like gravestones. Screams echo between engine roars. The Germans had the edge in optics, range, and armor. But the Soviets had numbers and orders to close the distance no matter the cost. A T-34 swerves between burning wrecks. Inside, the crew is deafened, soaked in sweat. The driver shouts,
Panzer 4! Left flank!
The gunner swings the turret, fires. The shell penetrates. A plume of fire erupts from the enemy's side. Nearby, a Tiger fires at close range, point blank. It annihilates 3 T-34s in a row.
Reload! Again!
But as they reload, a Soviet tank closes the gap. Too close. A shell slams into the Tiger's side armor. Sparks. The crew screams. Smoke pours in. There was no room for tactics. Crews fired at silhouettes through smoke, sometimes at 50 meters. It was the purest form of armored combat. Brutal. Relentless. Without mercy. 2 tanks collide and lock tracks. Both crews fight outside with pistols and grenades. One man stabs through a viewport. There were no lines. Only survivors. Soviet infantry joins the chaos pouring in from trenches. German lines bend. The battle shifts to the rail embankment, blood-streaked and cratered. The objective was simple: take the rail line. But simple does not mean easy. A Soviet tank halts. Inside, Sergeant Andrei looks at his bloodied crew. Only the loader is conscious.
We go. One last shot. Then we burn together.
They press forward. The final shell is loaded. Through the haze, they spot a Tiger pinning Soviet infantry. Their shot lands. Perfect hit. The Tiger erupts in a fireball. Seconds later, Andrei's tank is struck from the side. Flames consume them, but the line is breached. Soviet soldiers flood through, hurling grenades, mounting Panzers, fighting with knives.
This is for Kursk! For Kharkov! For our mothers!
German tanks begin to pull back, overwhelmed by sheer pressure. At Prokhorovka, thousands died in a single afternoon. But in every burning tank, in every crater filled with blood, was a sacrifice that pushed history forward. The battlefield is a graveyard. 300 tanks smolder. The earth itself seems scarred beyond recognition. The Germans begin a retreat. The Waffen-SS, once seen as invincible, had been stopped, not by cunning maneuvers, but by sheer will and relentless assault. A German officer watches through binoculars as his Panther is hit by a Soviet anti-tank gun. He slams his fist against the turret wall.
We had them. We had the edge. Why couldn't we break them?
Back at Soviet headquarters, General Rotmistrov receives the report, heavy losses, but the enemy is withdrawing.
So this is what victory costs.
The sun begins to set. Shadows stretch long over twisted wrecks. Men search for wounded. Fires still crackle. In a trench, 2 Soviet tankers sit in silence. The other smokes with shaking hands.
We lived, others didn't.
Then we remember them, everyone.
Prokhorovka did not end the war, but it ended the myth of German invincibility. The tide had turned. Evening. Thunderclouds loom overhead. Rain begins to fall, hissing against steel. Fires dim, but the scent of death lingers. The battlefield had devoured both sides, but only one still advanced. The Soviets, bloodied beyond belief, had held the line, and the world would never be the same. Joe, a Soviet loader, walks among the wrecks searching for his brother's tank. He finds it, blackened. He drops to his knees.
You said we'd drink together after the war.
He places a photograph in the hull, then walks away as lightning cracks the sky. German crews retreat into the night, shaken, silenced. Their tanks low on fuel, their dreams of victory smothered in smoke.
Citadel is finished. We fall back to the Dnieper.
The greatest tank battle in history ended not with a roar, but with silence. A silence haunted by 7,000 dead and more than 1,000 destroyed machines. But the Soviet flag still flies over the broken ground, and beneath it, hope, forged in fire. Today, a field outside Prokhorovka. Quiet, wildflowers bloom where the tanks once clashed. A single turret lies half buried in grass. Time has softened the battlefield, but beneath every foot of earth lies a memory, a tank, a soldier, a moment. At Prokhorovka, courage wore the face of a tank crew. The largest clash in armored history did more than destroy steel. It built resolve, and from the ashes rose a nation that would push onward to Berlin.